Okay, let's go. Hi, Arnaud.
Hello, how are you?
It's pretty fun to do this interview in English. Actually, you're the first person that I interview here in Hong Kong. Definitely not the last.
So it's fun to do it in English.
But it's
We
fun
both,
to do it in
both
English.
French.
Yeah. So we are both French, but it's like that. We decided to move here around the world. So let's try to to meet international people and to do it in English. So I have plenty of questions for you. As I told you, you're my first interview here in Hong Kong. But the first one is kind of always the same. Can you start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Arnaud. I've been born in France. I was born actually in Lons-le-Saunier, so a small town, even one of the biggest in Jura, so in the east of France. My parents at the time were working in F&B, so they had their restaurants. So we've been indirectly with my brother following them, moved directly to Savoie, then we went to Orléans, moved to Le Mans, and when they actually moved to the last company or restaurants in Vendée, at that time I literally wanted and started to study. So I've done Toulouse, Nice, Toulouse in that order, and then moved directly to England.
Okay.
So again, in food and beverage industry, and it has been quite fun because on my father's side there is a lineage of people from over 5 generations now working and having their restaurant. So we were born in it, almost. My parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. It's funny sometimes to find very old pictures of their restaurants at the time, which are now post offices or like other buildings. Some of them are still actually run as restaurants and bars. And on my mother's side, my grandfather was actually a pharmacist, but used to have a plot of vines and was making Chateau Chalon. His brother at the time was called Pierre Pelletier. He used to make wine under his name, and if I'm not mistaken, president of the, let's say, wine association consortio or in the area. Oh, wow. So I decided over time. So like probably many people have failed my studies, went to these general studies, not knowing what to do or what to expect after these few years. So I redirected completely to hospitality school. So I started in Le Mans. Done a BEP. It was I think the last year where they had this BEP CAP where you could get both of them at the same time, and kitchen and front of house. So luckily I'm very happy I get both of them, even though thinking about it was a time to say what do we do, or what do I want from the future? Do I want to be in the kitchen, be a chef? I did prefer the option of saying, okay, let's open it. I'd rather be in the front of house. And then that could be open to, I don't know, either a restaurant manager, have my own restaurant, be a hotel manager, anything but more on the front house side. And then years and years after of studying the hospitality, I used to love learning about ingredients. And obviously at that age, I don't do much wine tasting during classes. Like most of the students are pretty young. So they don't open bottles.
The wine tastings are after classes.
Yeah, usually more after classes. But it's also more the age when you like drinking outside, having happy hours. But that was a good start. So you're liking the vibrancy of having a drink with friends and loving the knowledge of products. So I combine them and say, okay, you know what? I really love wine. I love to learn about it. And I need to do an extra year to be specialized in wine. So I've done a BTS in Nice.
Okay.
Paul Augier, and then move to Toulouse for an extra year. And then at the time have the chance to move to UK just as a 1 month training period. And realizing that actually if I really wanted to have a broad picture of the wine worldwide, rather than staying in France, it would have been more suitable at the beginning to move to UK. So I moved to England, did a couple of years, Spain, back in UK, and here we are in Hong Kong now.
Okay, so it's kind of heartbreaking to say that for having a good experience in wine, you first need to move out of France.
But not a good experience in wine, because at some point during these years, I also regretted it.
Okay.
Thinking, oh my God, I could at this time be better in Loire Valley, or I could be better in knowing Burgundy or Bordeaux, all these famous vineyards of France. But then, unfortunately, the exposure of wines from other countries in France is very small.
Yeah, that's right.
So again, moving to England, it was not to be specialized in any single regions overall, but to understand a little bit what happened in Spain, what happened in Italy, obviously France, but USA, every country, some new world. It was a good. At the end, I'm pretty happy I did it.
And you started as a sommelier, so there?
Yes. I started for a company called Hôtel du Vin.
Okay.
So that used to be Gérard Basset's company. So at the time, you had many which are now mentors for a lot of sommeliers, even if I don't even think many of them are still on the floor now. But yeah, who's still there that I still have contact with? Laura Ris, Claire Thévenot, you had Dimitri Ménard, Henri Chapon, Xavier Rousset. It was
a good place to be with people.
A pretty strong place. And I say, honestly, I think what Gérard Basset has done with Hôtel du Vin was a pioneer in the country, developing the whole wine industry, the understanding of wine, and the understanding of having a sommelier guiding you through a wine list.
Yeah, definitely. You talked about your childhood memories. So you were born in the Jura region, you said, and so you have two first memories with wine, kind of. The first one, I guess, it's in a restaurant with your family. The other one is the vineyard that you had in the family in the Jura region. Which one made you decide to go into the wine? Which one was like a beautiful moment for you and kind of unlocked this?
I don't think a specific one has been unlocking it. It was more a combination of both of them. Spending time in the vineyards when we were in Jura, I don't actually remember it.
Okay.
I remember a conversation with my grandfather. I don't know, I was 6-7 years old, but because he passed away in 95. So yeah, I was definitely way less than 10. And him telling me, okay, no problem. You know what? Because they still had this bottling machine that you were doing by hand. And I was, I don't know, obsessed by understanding how it worked. And unfortunately, during harvest, we were always back to our cities for studies and school. So I remember him telling me that I would show you exactly how it happened, etc. And on the other side, again, I don't think it was something that clicked to be able to work in a restaurant or being specifically sommeliers at the beginning, but more, I think, things that you see on daily basis. At the time, my parents didn't have Michelin star restaurants. You didn't have sommeliers. I remember more St. Patrick's Day behind the bar. That now, I'm sorry, but I don't think you could even do it anymore. Where you have 10, 12, 14 years old standing on a stack of cases and
pouring pints
of beers. So they combining moments from both sides of the family.
So it's more like the atmosphere, the environment of food and beverage, of hospitality in general, that gave you this envy to then study it.
Yes. Yeah.
What did you notice so arriving in the UK, you noticed that you had an exposure to international wine that was broader. Did you notice at the time that it was already on the rise compared to French wines, or was it like on kind of an equilibrium or balance?
What do you mean? The amount of New World wines compared to French? No, that was literally when I would say New World wines were indirectly booming.
Okay.
It's something, and I'm sure many people will recognize it. If you take labels from Old World, most of the time you will have an appellation or geographical indication. And if you don't know what grape varieties are under this indication, it makes it very difficult for you to know where it's from, what type of wine it is.
Yeah.
So you need to know. Yeah, you need to know almost everything beforehand, or be from that region, or the chance to have drunk a bottle before to understand what you could have in the next one. New World wines actually were pretty clever of putting like upfront the name of the grape variety. And I think at that time in UK, that helped us a lot, consumers, to say, I want something dry, very aromatic, etc. I will go for New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. I want something broader, big. I'll go for Malbec from Argentina. And that was, I think, a good time. Yeah, a good time. And wine consumption were rising
Yeah, absolutely. So then you moved to Spain. You
Yes.
told me.
So I've done 1 year more or less in. So I started in Birmingham.
Okay.
It was very good place to learn English.
Yeah.
Amazing. I couldn't get a word. And front of house was okay because you have. And in England, you always had a huge amount of people working in front of house that could be from Italy, France. So we all speak like, or all were speaking or still speaking like a broken English. In the kitchen, you had people like from Birmingham. So the first experiences I had was Wales, so in Pembrokeshire, then Liverpool, and then Birmingham. So like the top places to learn.
So you can definitely understand.
Just missing Ireland, Scotland, and that would have been perfect.
Yeah, I went to Birmingham pretty recently, like 8 months ago, I think, something like that. I don't have the best memories from this city, but I just spent one night there, so maybe that explains why. But yeah, I found it a little bit.
I haven't been there for ages, so I wouldn't be able to judge or to say how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you mentioned, then just after moving to Spain, time in your life where you say, okay, should I move up in my job title? Or should I I'm still young and I want to get more experience. So I moved to Spain to say, okay, as I've been learning English, I will learn Spanish.
So you speak Spanish?
So I do speak Spanish also.
Wow. We won't do this podcast in Spanish, but
in a couple of years.
Maybe.
I can't remember much. There's not that many Spanish here in Hong Kong, but whenever I can, I try to practice it keep on practicing it. So that was the same experience. And looking at the map of Spain, we say, okay, I will not move to any regions of Spain where I will see a lot of tourists. So to remove Catalonia, remove the Basque Country, and Madrid. And Andalusia was so depending on the year. So the offers I've received was from Galicia.
Okay.
And then again, probably not the best place to learn a classic Spanish when you arrive. But after studying it at school, then Spanish as a French-speaking person,
it's a bit closer. Right?
Yeah, it's a bit closer and much easier to grab.
Yeah, you just add O and A whenever you can, and hope that works.
Yeah, exactly. People try to figure out also what you mean. So, and I met a very good friend that's still based there in Galicia. He's got now a couple of restaurants. Who took me outside and said, okay, you know what, let's go, I'll show you the area, let's go for a drink. And
in the vineyards or in the different wine bars?
No, different bars, yes. Okay. And then took the chance to visit some vineyards, but I had a very poor car at the time. It was hard to travel that far, even if vineyards were not far. It was a very old Renault 5 that even pipes been broken on the way to go to Spain. So I delayed and got blocked in the middle of the Asturias. So no, I couldn't move that easily.
Okay. It was the adventure.
Yeah, exactly. Spain was an adventure.
Yeah. And then you moved to Hong Kong just after that?
Yeah, so I've done Spain for 1 year.
As sommelier as well?
In Galicia as a sommelier.
Okay.
It was fun because at the beginning, again, I couldn't speak almost a word. Let's say on paper, your teacher at school in France would say, perfect, you've got a 40 point out of 20, so it should be fine, you can manage. But as soon as you arrive there, as you know, you can't speak a word. And the owner of the restaurant told me, you know what, take the key of the cellar, here's yours, that's the number of the supplier, now you manage it. I said, wow, okay, I have no choice, I need to jump into it. So that actually also has helped to catch up very, very quickly with the language. And again, no one spoke French, neither English for most. Then I moved to Denia for another restaurant, did the summer season, and when I finished there, so okay, I've got the chance to be in Spain. I've got a car that was a monospace at this time. I removed and put flat like the 2 back seats, and I say, okay, I'm gonna start visiting vineyards in Spain.
Amazing.
I put a mattress at the back of the car. And then for 2 months, I've been moving to Buyas, Alicante, Toledo. I haven't done it, but let's say from Denia, Valencia, and all further south up to Xérès, and then back to Galicia, and then France again. Yeah, it was cool. But a very, very good and very welcoming people. Very
Yeah.
again, I was no one, even though I'm probably still no one today. But when you see our people who are welcoming you and say, okay, please, you have 20-ish years old, you just start in the industry. Yes,
share a
you do
drink,
the effort,
yeah.
but how much they share with you, up to the point that people will literally cutting ham for lunch, inviting you for dinner. So without abusing, but it has been
That's the
it has been
beauty.
great.
The beauty of the wine world in general is that if you make the effort to go see people, to taste what they are doing, to discuss with them, usually they are super welcoming and they just try to be with you, make you live a good experience. Super humble people as well. So that's always amazing.
But wine, I say, overall is all about experiences.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a restaurant with a sommelier, a chef, we all been drinking a couple of bottles, but you usually remember the moment that goes with that specific wine.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can definitely change your experience of this tasting depending on the moment, the people you're with. Sometimes a bottle doesn't taste as good as when you tasted another one with other people and in a different context. So
True.
So yeah, it plays a very important role. So full road trip in Spain must have been amazing, especially the south of it, the countryside. I have a great memory of the countryside of Spain. It's a, I think, beautiful place, and I definitely need to go there again but to go see the vineyards because I didn't do it so far.
And it's still a country where I think it's still a bit underrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got amazing values.
Xérès is absolutely underrated for me.
Yes. Sure, not to say that too much. we keep them.
Let's keep them, but
no, it's fun because the market in England for sherry and Xérès is pretty big and was quite strong. In Hong Kong, it's very, very small.
Okay,
it's very hard to go through that market.
It's fun. I don't know how it is in France, but like for me, Xérès is a bit like port. Like the perception that we have of it in France is like kind of low quality and mostly like something your grandmother or grandfather would buy. And you have like appetizers with watermelon and a little bit of ham. And
is it still like that in France?
This is the image I have from it. And actually, when you taste it, I tasted ports a few months ago that were absolutely crazy. Xérès as well. I was like, wow, I have spent time not knowing what it is really Xérès and ports, and like, for me, these are amazing ones.
Port is definitely way more famous in France.
Yeah.
You see them in many supermarkets.
Yeah,
unfortunately, one of the things is they are mainly let's say the most entry level type of ports that will be imported and distributed. Not talking about fine dining restaurants but as a general consumption. So they're all pretty, let's say, the lower end of each portfolio. Sherry, you don't really see them. Now, on the other side, for me in the family, but as they've been from Jura and doing wines like vin jaune, it has been always like the brothers, the two brothers from different countries. Even though the system is a bit different, but they always been either comparing them, trying to understand what was done in Spain compared to what they are doing in Jura. But it's fun. I've been catching up recently with some families about like all these ones. That's okay, perfect. We'll meet next year. And the aim now is to find every single type of, I will call them oxidative, like oxidative wine, but all wines that will have that biologic aging and compare them. So up to, I don't know, trying to find some yellow wines from China, sherry, Vernaccia di Oristano. I tested some Savagnin from Australia also, made like this on the floor. Okay. So it will be a fun experience.
Definitely fun tasting to come. So let's transition to Hong Kong. So you have the opportunity in Hong Kong. Is it for Watsons already or not at all?
No, I started for a group of restaurants called Blacksheep restaurants.
Okay. Pretty well known in Hong Kong. They have
they have quite a few outlets. To what attracted me with the company because at that time I was mainly doing fine dining restaurants. Because when I moved back from Spain, I moved back to London and again reintegrated like Michelin star that was in very close to the ex-Queen's house. And after that, with Gordon Ramsay, that was also Michelin star. And at that time, when I moved away, I wanted to do a little bit more in terms of organization structure, but wouldn't automatically concentrate only in Michelin and the highest end restaurants. And Blacksheep was a very good catch, and I was really happy to start with them.
Yeah, because so here in Hong Kong they have pretty different levels of restaurants. Like super
you literally
affordable
go
places.
from a burger to pizza to a Mediterranean Greek to more fine dining Italian to very casual to fine dining to Michelin to Indians to they do a lot of different concepts and every single time they nail it.
And so for them you were sommelier, head sommelier?
So I started as a sommelier, managing 2 of the restaurants. At the time, the team was pretty small. We were about 5, more or less 5 of us. And as they've been opening, I was helping on doing one list, another one, restructuring, let's say a program in other restaurants. So then bit by bit took over a wine director position. And when I finished, it was close to 26 or 27 restaurants, and I had 16 sommeliers.
Wow.
So yeah, cool company.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen that often nowadays.
Yeah, and to know this growth in people in like a growth environment is always something super exciting, because you get to just prove that you can do more things and like have more and more work. So sometimes it's a bit tiring, but it's
but I actually took a lot of more. Running the floor was one thing, but when you do it after a year, when you do a lunch and you still open your screw cap Sauvignon Blanc, etc., at one point you want to see something else. Some people love it, and I've got nothing against that. I think it's down to each one of us to know what you want to do in the future, but not jumping onto commercial agreements either for Coravin, making this for glassware, doing a new opening when you look for your glassware, your suppliers, what return can you have as a company, what can you give to others, developing the team, all these details, especially developing the team. I took a lot of pleasure, and now it's amazing, and I love it. Is to see other sommeliers that we were on the floor and who used to run the floor with me, see them head sommelier in certain major hotels or even sometimes bigger positions. I wish for them to do even bigger than what I've done for Blacksheep.
Yeah, absolutely. So you arrive here. What is your perception of the wine market here when you arrive? So at the time, I know it has changed a bit since then, but what are the main differences that you see with what you did in England and in Spain?
Well, you've got quite a few differences. The major one, and the one that will shock you as soon as you start and you run the floor, is that the consumption and the wine consumption for lunch, it's very small, to almost non-existent. So it happened. You can serve again if you are and work in a fine dining restaurant where you have a tasting menu that goes with wine, and a party is here to celebrate and really have that moment, enjoy, and this wake effect. They will have a drink, but it doesn't happen that much. So that's one of the main thing. And then now England is, as a market, is again, you could be in Spain, in France, or many other producing country. London as a wine market is enormous. It's huge, and even though we could nowadays consider that Hong Kong is a mature market, you've got many countries which are not represented as they could be in UK. UK imports wine. First, people love to drink wine overall. To have a drink for lunch, it's more common. They love and they're very curious. Or they've been at the time, I don't know now again, and it's very hard to judge. But I used to find customers extremely curious on trying new new wines, going to a restaurant and say, okay, I usually drink that type of wine. What can you recommend? Okay. To a very adventurous wine pairing with things that you probably never thought about. So again, and also importing wine for centuries. So it's compared to Hong Kong, even so-called mature market, Hong Kong wine industry is very recent. I mean, 50 years ago in Hong Kong, I don't think much wine's been imported. Perhaps just the beginning of a few wine imports, but again, very narrow. England at that time, 50 years ago, was already importing a lot of wines. Most of the major corporation importer, négociants were based in England. So year after year, I'm sure, and I guess in Hong Kong, if people keep on drinking, the system of taxes remain the same. Within 50 years, we're probably going to be in Hong Kong with the same market as England is. It's going to probably take a bit more time.
So there is still place for still room for underrepresented regions or type of wine to come to Hong Kong.
I think so, but everywhere. I mean, you've got amazing wines all over the world. So there is always a pépite, like the golden gem that you can find in a region. I don't know if tomorrow you start your winemaking experience, you have a small plot and make an amazing wines. Boom, that comes and okay, perfect. This is the next one to have on a wine list or in the portfolio. So there is everywhere you are. I think there is always room for a little bit more. Hong Kong, there is. And it's funny to see. I mean, I'm not in Hong Kong for very long. It's been more or less 8 years. And Italian wines, for example, has been exploding in the country. They really started from nothing to 100 within a matter of 10 years, more or less 10, 15 years.
And do you explain it mostly on the like commercial effort? Like if I'm in the booth of the winemakers.
I think it has been a lot of different actors helping it. Whether they are Italians are very present in the front of house and F&B. So that they could be also, and they are pretty present in Hong Kong in importing. So you have a government, a country that's pushing for it, producers that want to be here and making the effort to come for different wine fairs. Front of house, let's say managers or sommelier that could be Italian, that have their love and heart in the middle of Italy, pushing an importer to say, oh, you know what, I love this wine. You don't need to import much. If you have 48 bottles a year, I'll be happy. Could you help me to source it? So it has been probably a snowball effect of different people, different actors in the industry that have helped Italy to grow as much as what it is now. The same way it was probably with France 20, 25 years ago. Now it could be, I don't know. Everyone's got wines. Many importers got wine from Spain. Will Spain take over tomorrow or in 10 years? We don't know.
We don't know. There are not that much Spain restaurants from what I've seen. Spanish restaurants or Spanish.
There are quite a few, but the trend of tapas that has happened 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, have faded a little bit here. So it's much harder. And compared to, I remember England, even though London doesn't have much space for storage, Hong Kong storage and spaces is very, very limited. So it's extremely hard to have a massive and huge, extensive portfolio. It's extremely hard to have a very extensive wine list because all that you need to put them somewhere. Even though you could have, let's say, the buying power to do so, it's very hard to have it. So what you see mainly on the scene in Hong Kong for restaurants, there will be like a Spanish restaurant having Spanish wine, an Italian restaurant focusing on Italian wine, French restaurant on French wines. Rather than, again, I can hardly speak about England now because I haven't been there for a while. But in England, I remember like seeing wine lists that will undergo, and you could try wines from all over the world.
So if I'm a winemaker and my goal is to try to have my bottles in Hong Kong, from what you say, I have written 3 things. The first one is try to target the diaspora. So just if you're Italian, just try to see if there are Italian restaurants, Italian importers, like try to be with the people like you. Second thing is try to come here because it's a good opportunity to try to meet your future clients, and it's always better when you have boots on the ground. And the third thing would be to be, I guess, flexible on quantities that you are able to sell, and be like, no, you don't need to buy 10 pallets from me. If you want my wine, you can just buy a few parcels and we'll...
yeah, if it can help, I'll be...
would that be the playbook for winemakers listening
not
to us?
A playbook is very... It's a strong...
And make good wines, obviously. It's
a strong word because Hong Kong will follow and listen a lot to the market also.
Okay.
And it's true that we all have wines from our own country that we love. And you could be, I don't know, I say something random, but you could be from South Africa. You love South African wine, especially sparkling wine from South Africa. The market here makes it very difficult to be able to open on regular basis bottle of South African sparkling. Don't tell me wrong, I love them. I've got a lot of friends from South Africa. I take this one as an example.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that could be, I don't know, Costières-de-Nîmes in France. That could be Beaujolais. It's starting a little bit, but again, that difficult wine, even though it's much stronger in Europe. Lesser known area in Spain, and that's probably why Spain will take a bit more time to come to the market. That unless Rías Baixas, for example, in Galicia, who really knows about the wines which are made in the area, the styles, the grape varieties, and how good they can be, unless they are imported, tested, but that's going to take years and years. So either again, I don't want to send a wrong message to producers that will be willing to come, saying, okay, that's the playbook to use, because if it's a fail at the end,
you won't be responsible. Huh?
Yeah, not being responsible, but it could definitely help. I mean, the world of wine, it's a lot of connections.
Yeah.
So if a sommelier from Spain has been working with you in a certain restaurants, I don't know, in the Basque Country, and you know that person is in Hong Kong, why not trying to reach out? I mean, it's pretty easy nowadays to reach out to everyone. Better trying than not trying, even though the answer is negative. At least you know where to go and what to do.
Absolutely. So you were at Blacksheep, and so then you transition to Watsons. When did you arrive at Watsons?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay. So you kind of changed in the work that you're doing, because previously you were having a team of sommelier and being dedicated to like operate restaurants. Now you're more dedicated to help sommelier having the right wines for their clients. So how did you transition here, and what is your role today? So
I transitioned as a head of sales for the trade. So I think that was also the easiest move to do, is to go directly within the trade business, which is all, let's say, a department or unit that I still have like a lot of friends working in. So it was easy to reach out and find, to be able to get appointments, find positions, few listings or testing together. And recently moved as a head of business development. So again, whole in transition. It's just happening. Let's see what's going to happen.
And so what is your daily life is what is to provide wines to restaurants?
As an importer, yeah.
Okay.
Simply, yes. Source the wines and provide them to your clients.
Okay. And
so whether it's e-business, Watsons Wine is a pretty strong importer. I shouldn't say one of the oldest, but
one of the biggest for sure.
Yeah, it's here for quite a few years. So luckily we had the chance to have strong wineries, strong partners with who we're collaborating for 15, 20 years together, and been promoting, enhancing the exposure of the winery year after year and event after event. So they are in restaurants. Nowadays we've got a very strong online businesses, a very strong retail business, a very strong trade business, private customer. So like targeting all different channels. It's also a pretty big portfolio. We have 25 shops in Hong Kong. We're also based in Macau and China. Whereas China has a very different portfolio. So China, we are focusing mainly in restaurants for Champagne and Burgundy.
Okay. And do you see other differences between Hong Kong, Macau, and mainland China in terms of wine they want, type of wine they want? So maybe in China it's more difficult to say because you're focused on Burgundy and Champagne, but between Macau and Hong Kong, do you see big differences?
Yes, well, there are always differences, but in customers you will work with. Macau is very famous for all this casino scene.
Yeah.
Hong Kong will have a lot of private member club, hotels, and individual restaurants.
And so maybe the type of wine is also super different. Like in casino, you mostly want, I guess, the big brands and the big champagne and that type of stuff.
Well, not automatically, because it's casino. We can have numerous amount of venues and restaurants.
True.
So then each restaurant will have their, let's say, how can I say?
Like their atmosphere, their concept.
Or culture.
Yeah, okay.
And in building their own wine list also. Mm. So if you do a Chinese restaurant, nowadays extremely sought after or extremely fashionable is Chinese wine. It came like within the past few years, and after COVID, like very strongly onto the market, whether it's Macau or Hong Kong. So again, depending who's your customer, it's very hard to say Hong Kong is more like this, Macau is like that. That who you're working with actually makes the whole difference. If you work with a casino that's only French, that only has French restaurant, and a casino that only has Italian restaurant, your listings will be different.
Yeah, fortunately.
Yeah, it's good. It creates like...
Yeah, it creates an atmosphere, concept. You don't want especially to drink French wine in Italian restaurant and vice versa. So it's the diversity of wine. So not talking about geographical difference, but so it's been 8 years that you're in Hong Kong. We just recently arrived. It's been 3 months, so we don't have that much historic. But how do you perceive the evolution of wine and of preferences in Hong Kong? I hear a lot of people saying that F&B has changed in Hong Kong. It's not the same people. A lot of people left during COVID crisis, then few return, maybe recomposition of the market and everything.
So you know as much as me?
Yeah, already. But yeah, so you also talked about Chinese wines. But how did you see the shape of this market evolved?
Well, I think it has been changing, but not only in Hong Kong. It's probably worldwide. And when we talk to friends in different countries, everyone is saying, yeah, the demographic has changed, the consumption has changed. People will pay more attention to their probably health. Mm-hmm. Many companies are fighting to find good team members. I think it's more or less the same worldwide. I don't think a country will be nowadays in the position to say, wow, we took over. Okay. I don't know. We took over Hong Kong in terms of sales, and it's brilliant. There are a few places in Southeast Asia which are growing. Thailand, probably Vietnam. etc. It's pretty good. It's good to see that coming. Hong Kong, again, Hong Kong's been decreasing, but we always seen, and we probably remember the best days of Hong Kong, the top years of Hong Kong, where alcohol was flowing and people partying all day long, and it was restaurants all over the place, people constantly in the street. You could find everything and anything at any time you want. So this, of course, has a big change. But again, not only for Hong Kong. Wine scenes will develop. Now, it's true that we're all in an economic situation that's probably a bit hard. And again, not talking only about companies I've been working with, I think just talking to people around. Yeah. So is it the time to say, oh, I'm going to increase my portfolio by or my wine list from 200 to 600 wines? I don't think many people will do it at this time. Or I will increase my portfolio by 100 producers. I don't think it will be the time. I think everyone is kind of reconcentrating, listing, collaborating with historical partners, building brands that they've been working with for very long, and really paying attention to the economical environment. And I think everyone is pretty scared that I shouldn't say another COVID will come or another issue like that, but it has been.
Yeah, everyone is cautious on the stock.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The amount of liquidity you can have or that are fixed in inventory, that type of things.
But it's honestly, watching Hong Kong is not that bad. The city is full.
Yeah.
The good restaurants are still here. Strong companies are still present. So it's still good. It's a very resilient city. Hong Kong, why there was 2003 SARS, then the protests, Hong Kong always comes back. So we are here. We are patient, trying to protect individually or business wise for our business related, but a bit cautious of that, and then we'll move forward.
So you talked a little bit about Chinese wines. It's a kind of a focus for us for the next year. It's also something that you've seen more and more Chinese wines in Hong Kong.
Yes, not Hong Kong within the area. I think the same way French would love to have their French wines when they go outside. I think also local Hong Kongese or Chinese, even though the image of China probably wasn't the greatest, the image of China or Chinese wine, I mean, wasn't the best 20 years ago. Nowadays, people who's been trying them, tasting, comparing them with other wines in the world can realize that the quality that's now made in China for a specific amount of estate is pretty good and it's great. So it's good. We've seen restaurants building their entire wine list out of Chinese wines, others having a small category just on Chinese wines by the glass. So it's really growing.
Okay, so keep subscribing on this podcast and on our mailing list and stuff, because we are definitely going to China in the next few months to discover these Chinese wines. And this is what I hear. I hear that 20 years ago it was absolutely not on the table and not a topic, but like from now on it's like more and more Chinese wines, people being kind of proud of what they are doing. Everyone also tells me that there are still room for improvement and it's still only the beginning, but that there are absolutely amazing things.
Like in many places, everyone will say there is room for improvement.
Yeah.
Now, room for improvement, and again, it's just a random number. If 100 estates in China make an amazing job nowadays, in 20 years' time, there's going to be thousands and thousands of them that will be something amazing. And then this will probably come into the world market, showing, okay, China is very serious about their wines.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just...
So I also had the chance when I arrived 8 years ago to do some tasting for Chinese wine, like hundreds of wine from all over China. And at that time, like 10 years ago, you could take a good bunch of these wines and say, well, what actually is not much my taste, or I wouldn't give them medals for an international tastings. Nowadays, you'll take the same batch or amount of wines from serious wineries. So there's a very large amount of wines which are incredibly good.
I can't wait to taste these Chinese wines in the future. You're coming from the Jura region. Jura is super well known for doing vin jaune, so yellow wine, very specific type of wine. If you don't know what is yellow wine, it's because you have not subscribed to my Instagram or my YouTube channel.
So you've been there a few times.
No, actually, I've never been to Jura. I would have loved to, but I definitely love vin jaune, so yellow wine. But I will go to Jura as well. I will go to China before going to Jura, actually, but I will still go to Jura one day. What is the perception of these yellow wines here in Hong Kong? Is it something that you managed to have a little bit of it on the wine list and make clients discover, or not at all?
I think it's the same perception that French people will have about yellow wine.
Okay.
Now, however, there is a product that you call also yellow wine, indirectly in China, where people will usually concern that with hairy crabs. Okay. So the hairy crab season matched with yellow wine, works perfectly. So you've got a lot of restaurants again and different consumers that will take these bottles of Jura wine, Jura vin jaune, to also match the hairy crab.
Okay,
so it's not something that comes from the completely unknown styles of product. You could taste in China similar, let's say almost similar product.
Okay.
I'm not saying they are made the same way and they taste the same, but you've got these hints of it.
Okay. And that's fun because it's super specific, and in France we kind of only consume it for a special event or at special moments.
Again, it's funny in France because even though, let's say, we have part of the family that's from the Jura, and my uncle still produces these wines, this vin jaune. You could present a bottle of vin jaune to many people in France, and it's a shame, yes and no. It's good on one side because you show a product to consumers that have no idea about it, for them to taste something different. But on the other side, if they can't be pursued or understand it by, let's say, someone that will explain them exactly how it's made and why it tastes like this, they will keep this bad image about the full region.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a comment a few times saying, "Oh no, wines from Jura, I hate it." Say, "Oh, they are sweet," and so sweet, but probably not vin jaune. That's probably that style of wine. Oh no, but okay, but they are oxidative. Yeah, but Jura doesn't only make that. You also have many other styles of wine.
Absolutely.
And yeah. But I'm a big fan of vin jaune as well.
Yeah, okay. So we'll share a glass one day. Great. I think I've had answers to a lot of my questions. Marine, do you have some question? No question from Marine behind the camera, so that's great. What are your next challenges here at Watsons? Trying to consolidate the portfolio, I guess.
Yeah, consolidate the portfolio. There is always like small, short-term, mid-term, long-term challenges. Again, we don't know what tomorrow will be made of. If everything comes back, if a lot of offices from, let's say, foreign companies come, whether it will be mainly Australian, Australian wine will come back on the market very heavily. If it's a lot of American coming or French coming, American or French wine will come back even stronger. So in a very long term, it's very hard to plan, even though we try to see in a midterm, but definitely consolidating the portfolio, keep on building the exposure, making sure that every producers, every winery we represent and we collaborate with, we could be listing everywhere. So consumers of all will, just by seeing the label or reading the name, being able to recognize. And I think that's the dream for many winemakers.
Yeah.
So, wow, if someone can read the name and say, okay, I know that, I know it's good, that's the one I want, it's great.
Yeah.
So that's, indirectly a bit our job.
Great. Thank you very much for all this, Arnaud. Thanks to you. It was an amazing discussion. I hope people liked it, and if they are still there at this moment of the interview, it means that they liked it. So that's okay. I have three last questions for you that are kind of habit in this show. The first one is: do you have a book recommendation for me?
That's a very, very good question, and very hard also. I can't answer this question. Why? Because in each book you find amazing details and informations about wine, whether they are specific about a region or a country. There are some that I love for maps. There are some that I love for their content. There are some that I love for the ratings. So, no, very hard.
So just read every one book.
I think reading as many books as possible. The more information you have. And I remember it studying to pass, when you pass all these exams and competitions, you always have a lot of information you take from one book, and then another book for others, and then another book for others, and try to extract, let's say, what you need and when you think important. Okay, so if you want to find wine book recommendations, I have everything for you, because we have something in the description with actually a list of wine books that are amazing. So it's free to download. Then you have all the good recommendations. Do you have a recent tasting that you loved? Few of them, yes. I tasted What I've tasted, just came back from leave where I was in France and kept few bottles of Giacomo Conterno, like when he purchased his vineyard Cereta, and labeled it as Langhe. That's one of them. I really like Nebbiolo from Piedmont. Again, tasted few of them from Canubi, from 14. That were great. I really take pleasure in drinking wines from Loire Valley. Not because I spent quite a few years in the area, but I think it's probably one of the most exciting region nowadays worldwide. It's an enormous region compared to many others, and differences from one side to the other is also pretty big. And what's good to see is that in the past, we probably had Sancerre as an important appellation, Muscadet also important, even if the image in certain markets has been decreasing. Now changing back, because there's in each small appellation, whether you go to Côte du Forez, Anjou, Fief Vendéen, Vendomois, like all these sub areas of Loire Valley, you have great producers, and all together they really make Loire Valley great.
Make Loire Valley great again, or great, great period, because
indirectly great again. Yes, because if you look at historically also the region, if you know that every kings of France were based there.
True.
Consumption of wines were enormous. Vineyards were recognized as some of the top, and all these sweet wine areas from Anjou, where now you make also dry styles, they were, I shouldn't say abandoned, but a little bit left aside. Market of sweet wine decreasing, they were even further left aside. And when we see how they are now coming back, it's very impressive. And Chenin is an amazing grape variety. Cabernet, without talking about Pinot, Sauvignon, Melon. There's so many of them.
Absolutely. Go to Loire Valley. It's an amazing place and amazing things to do there. And finally, who is the next person I should interview in this podcast?
You could probably think, I mean, there is another old colleagues of mine that's left the floor a few years ago, that now represents American wineries, so Jackson Family Vineyard. His name is Pierre-Marie Pathieu. He also passed his Master Sommelier recently. When I think about him, we also live 50 meters away from each other on an island just outside of Hong Kong. A very good friend, a great colleague.
A great neighbor.
A dangerous colleague. But we'll be definitely one of them.
Okay, count on me. And for the people who are listening, stay posted, because it may be one of the next interviews. Arnaud, thank you very much for your time and for this conversation. I hope we will have other ones in the future. I'm definitely not worried about that, and that we will continue to see each other in different settings. Thanks again for everything, and see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks to you, and thanks for everything.